Internet of Value open forum. Now, ledgerscale Foundation was founded with the two goals in mind. One, we want to provide educational services to not only our community, but to the entire digital asset community, and help scale up the number of brains that understand how distributed ledger technology works. And two, we intend to one day run hardware to provide infrastructural support to the distributed ledger technology networks that we believe are ESG friendly and running a form of decentralized consensus. We host these spaces Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday starting at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And on Wednesday, we host a focus topic space from 5 to 6. And if I could just ask if everybody could give us a follow on Twitter at ledgerscale and turn notifications on so you know we're going live. And I just, always like to thank in advance everybody who listens to this. I hope you find it valuable and can retweet the space so that somebody else may find that information valuable. Karma's coming up though right now. I think it's just Twitter is just lagging. I'm just sending invites out. You guys don't have to accept it if you don't want to. But if there's any topics anybody's thinking about or questions you may have about something, feel free to come up. Twitter is being really glitchy.
What's up, Dad?
How you doing today, Tony?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
On fire. Another 95 today.
Oh, man. That's not good. It's 89 here.
It's not far off, but yeah, the humidity is pretty bad too.
Yeah, humidity is in the low 30s right now.
It's better. I think.
Hey guys, what's up?
50.
What's up, Vat?
Hey man,
What's up, Vat?
how you doing, man?
No.
Karma, hey, I can hear you.
We
What's
hear
up,
you now.
Karma? We hear you.
It's working?
To Karma.
Okay. All right. That was weird.
Yeah, you're good.
Have you guys seen all the look like drama for the most part over the I guess Coinbase, taking custody of the stable coins, the USDC that were in people's wallets that were associated with this whole tornado swap?
Oh, boy.
No, I saw something with the tornado swap, but I didn't really read into it. I'd never even heard a tornado swap, so I didn't know that it was that important. What was it?
Did they freeze it? Did they freeze it or what?
Yeah, they froze the funds, and people were freaking out about it. And I guess I'm the only one that thinks that's a normal thing, right? Like, you're now associated with money laundering against a country that has sanctions against them. Yeah, you're kind of like, you might have not realized it, but you associate yourself with very, very bad people.
Well, didn't the CEO of Circle say, I don't know what it was, or I think it was someone else that said it couldn't be frozen?
Wait, what happened? I just saw this tornado. I saw a couple of times. Tornado, whatever. And I was just thinking, just another.
So,
whatever. Right.
I think they did it. It was like six swaps away, right? If your wallet was 6 swaps away from a transaction that went through Tornado Swap, right? You're on the list, I guess, and you have to do with they're associating you with money laundering with North Korea, and obviously there's sanctions against North Korea. So that's evading. You help North Korea evade sanctions, money laundering wise. So there, and the interesting thing, I don't know if this was true, but I read a list of the ETH wallets that were there, and there were celebrities there. I don't know if it was like one of the names was Jimmy Fallon. I wonder if they really are true or not.
Shaquille O'Neal,
There was
like some foundations as
well.
well. Dude, they're not going to do anything to them though.
Oh no, I don't think the government cares. They'll go to jail for the rest of their life if that's true. If that's accurate.
But were they really money laundering, or was it just a network that was enabling money laundering that they
Correct.
happened to be part of?
That's exactly the way you could think of it. It was a network that was enabling the money laundering. Now, whether you meant to be part of it or not, it's like the problem is it's on the internet, right? But in modern day crime, it's the same thing as walking past somebody who's shooting somebody and just standing there and watching it, right? Like you're associated with the crime, and so that's at least how the U.S. government's going to look at it. I mean that's life in prison.
Well, yeah, but if people didn't know, I mean, then
okay, so maybe they get a lesser sentence, but you know,
they'll pay a fine. They'll pay a fine because one thing that it's clear and evident is
maybe
a
the
bunch of
people
these
who have
Hollywood celebrities. A
or
lot
maybe
of these Hollywood celebrities, they do that.
else. Yeah, I know you're right. You're right though. But what about everybody else who doesn't have the money to pay some sort of fine?
Well, those people will go to jail.
Or
Those people will go to jail. But these Hollywood people, they're not going to jail. There's no way. Like you hear all these tax evasion, tax fraud, being committed left and right by the people here in Hollywood. They just pay a fine. Like that's it.
well,
yesterday Trump got raided.
yeah, Trump got raided too. That's another.
So what did they did they raid it because they want to find something that he has on what happened with the January 6th thing, or what was the reason?
It's the FBI. I don't know. The FBI doesn't normally just raid somebody's house.
Yeah.
well, that's
I actually
another.
heard that.
I saw that, and I was like, but I didn't really read into the article or anything. I just saw the headline. I was like, well, geez, here we go again. Basically, like the tornado thing. Like each one of those, like I was just like, up, all right, up, here we go again. Some another project or another stupid whatever with the political stuff. Like, I just stop.
The tornado swap, the one is really though bad because we have an example of what happens when you help North Korea do something with digital currency, and we have that kid who was part of the Ethereum Foundation, right, and went to North Korea to help them try and build their own ETH. He's spending the rest of
Vitalik?
it. No. That was one of the people who was in there in the early days. You could look it up if you look up.
So Vitalik
Yeah.
said also that he used Tornado Cash to donate money to Ukraine. And I'm like, why would you use that when there's so many other ways to use it? Something's up, man.
Yeah, well, that's.
Well, and what's his name? Vitalik met with Putin. I mean, it's crazy what the Ethereum folks have done, and how in the world they're not under some sort of like.
Is Vitalik Russian or is he Ukrainian?
No, he's Russian.
Oh, okay.
Right, Karma? So it doesn't make any sense,
But I mean,
right?
how do you get a meeting with Putin? I used to literally this.
Not only that, they had said that they're building an ETH Russia. I mean, I still remember that announcement.
Well, I remember I mean, like when I did the consulting sales, like part of my job was scheduling meetings with CFOs, right? Like if you weren't CFO, I didn't even need to know your name. And it's hard to get a meeting with a CFO. These guys are busy, right? To get a meeting with like a head of a country, like the president, I mean, come on. Do you know that's how hard that is? I mean, you could spend 2 or 3 years trying to get that meeting. That's how hard that is, easily, and that's daily work trying to get that one meeting daily, and just day after day after day failure, and then eventually you'll get it. But
Maybe
yeah,
it's the other way around, dude. Maybe Putin wanted to meet him because he knew, like, oh, okay, he's Russian and he, like, is so big in crypto and Ethereum. And he was like, you know what? Maybe I try to approach him, or so I sent someone to approach him. I want to speak to the youth,
well, in that case, then you'd be lucky because I never had a CFO. Well, that's not entirely, but 99% true. I never had a CFO reach out to me. It was always me slash we um going after them and trying to make ourselves relevant to whatever issues and problems they were working on, right? And
I
then
mean,
we would
if you
solution.
see, because if you see it the other way around, then I could see, like, why you would also meet. I mean, let's say, whatever, Biden, Trump, whatever, would say, hey, Karma, I want to meet you. You could say, like, even if you like them or don't like them, maybe if you say no, you would say, but what kind of look is that, right? I guess yes, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he had also, like, he was worried maybe of retribution or so. I don't know, dude. Um, I have no
See,
idea.
I guess I'm the weird one because my response would be why?
Yeah,
I guess that's the first thing that comes to mind. I don't know.
But they always meet because they, they're looking for something in return. They don't meet presidents just for fun or just for a photo op. Like even Elon Musk and the Google people. I don't know who the CEO was. I think it was the current guy. Zuckerberg. All of these guys, when Trump went into office, they all went, including Bezos, to the White House. They wanted to meet with him. It's not. I forget, there's a documentary where they talk about all these politicians accepting money, and one guy who worked for Bill Gates said that Bill Gates said, "Well, why do I have to meet with the president? I want nothing from them." And his lawyer, one of his lawyers, apparently said, "It's not that you want something from them; it's that you need to make sure they don't do something against you."
Yeah, I remember when I saw, I forget which press conference it was or something, but it was, they were all sitting around the table. Like Tim Cook was on the left side of Trump, and Elon Musk, like all the tech giants were there, and
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, the press were there. They were, like, taking pictures and video and whatever. And then, after a couple of minutes, Trump was like, okay, all right, now get the fuck off. We have to talk. you know and it's probably, as Tony said, like, you want to sit at that table because maybe there is some information regarding the terrorists, for example. Maybe he says, hey guys, we might do something like this, just be prepared, whatever. I don't know.
No, also, guys, Kasha posted a couple comments in the comments right below. So he's saying that the FBI, it's not a money laundering outfit. I don't know. Oh, the allegation is potential money laundering. The FBI stated it's unrelated to January 6th.
Are you talking about Trump?
Yeah, that second comment was, I guess, regarding about Trump. I think that's
Oh,
what he meant.
that wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, I don't want to get political, but it's not really political. I mean, just if you just look at the situation, the two top asset classes for money laundering are real estate and casinos. I mean, what businesses has he been in? I mean, and how do you screw up a casino? Like, I mean, it's a how do you like, you got to almost try to screw that up. Like,
one of the one of the things they're actually looking into him for was supposedly 16 boxes of information that he's taken out of the White House or something like that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he was the president, so I don't see why he wouldn't be privy to it in the first place. But, you know.
I don't know. I would not be shocked one bit if there's money laundering involved with his business affairs. That seems to make sense to me. And it's not a political thing. It's just, I mean, like if you just look at it from like on the surface layer, look at the connections, look at the repeated things not working out, like that's weird. Um, the type of businesses, the leverage, it just wouldn't surprise me one bit.
I heard you couldn't get anywhere far in New York City back, I don't know when, in the 90s or 80s, in real estate, if you didn't have any connections to the mafia and stuff like this. So that's interesting.
I think we're going down a rabbit hole here
Yeah.
in relation to Trump. Like, seriously, I reckon I'm pretty sure you're going to find it's for political reasons, and that's pretty much it. I mean, the midterms are coming up. Yeah, I think we should just leave this one alone. I don't think there's anything all that deep in it at all.
Well, I don't really want to go down this rabbit hole. I would rather get back to crypto, but it's from a financial point of view. Like if you you don't even have to look hard. Just glance at the situation. I mean, and I think the picture's there. Anyway, if that's what they're going after, then that's funny. I mean, it's like about time. It's actually been so obvious to me that I've wondered if the government was using him as like a honeypot almost.
Oh, Casta says, sorry, the Trump raid was not money laundering. It was about official documents leaving the White House.
Well, that's another thing. But the money laundering stuff, I've literally wondered if they weren't using him as a honeypot. I mean, if you mean by honey.
White House official duty is typically only done by the Secret Service. So why is the FBI there? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Talking about the FBI, has anyone heard about the X-Spectre thing this morning?
Oh, there's an AMA going on right now, and
yeah, it's going right now.
It looks like Rose is in there now, actually speaking. But yeah, if you want to ask a question to Dirk or whatever, he's doing an AMA. You could go over there and ask him. But I don't think they're doing anything wrong. This guy, I think his name is Jack the Rippler. Is he likes to start some drama. I think that's really it.
Yeah, I was in that space just before, and that seemed like that was pretty much the case. And someone looks like they pretty much just straight out exposed what was going on with Jack. So hopefully those guys can recover and continue on.
Yeah, Dirk. In that sense, Dirk is very professional in my opinion in that sense, and I think he's handling it also right now really good. Like he has.
Yeah, I would say he is one of the most professional, at least, projects so far, the way he represents. So I enjoy that. Go ahead, OC.
Yeah, so I got a question on who the Jack the Rippler is, because
What do you think about the merge with Ethereum and all the miners? I mean, I got a feeling they're just not going to take this shit laying down. I really don't. There's going to be a hard fork there, and I think there's going to be a lot more issues there than everybody's anticipating.
Yeah, let us first get to OC. He was talking before you.
He was kind of low to me. Maybe Greek didn't hear him.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask a question on Jack the Rippler, because I follow Rippletons, and I'm sure everybody know who Rippletons is, and he sort of called out Phoenix Swap, and Phoenix Swap hasn't spoken on any of the allegations about them having the same wallet with I believe it's another project that was a rug pull. Now, Phoenix Swap ended up tweeting that there's a lot of FUD going on, and then obviously Rippleton is in the thread saying that it's not FUD. There's facts behind this. And then Jack the Rippler retweeted what Phoenix Swap said about it being FUD. So that sort of made me question Jack's the Rippler's credibility as to what the type of actor he is, because
Yeah, where he
obviously
stands.
there's evidence against Phoenix Swap, but then he's sort of pushing a different narrative that there isn't any.
OC is Phoenix Swap, because I don't know. I saw the tweet, but is Phoenix Swap a project on XRPL?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Coming to the XRPL. Yeah, I would say this. Take it for a grain of salt, obviously, anything I say, but I would call him one of the bad actors in the space.
Yeah,
and
usually
that's sort of the feeling that I got. It's like, well, come on, bro, you can't really say any of that because you have all these facts right here. So that's sort of what I concluded, but I don't know. I saw he has a pretty large following, so I wasn't too sure what people saw.
you know what's insane? They start in Phoenix Swap, dude. Phoenix Swap. Oh God. Are we front running the AMM projects and make promises there? Oh gosh.
I was in that conversation just before in the AMA, and a guy came out and basically stated that he was in the tier 3 of Jack the Rippler's, Discord and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, he was really calling him out bad. I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but yeah, it really did not fare well for him at all.
Cool. That's just what I wanted to bring up. If we want to go back to Greek's question.
What was the question?
The fork, and then what are you going to do with the miners? And do you think they're going to take that line down?
Wait, what? Huh?
With the fork, getting away from mining ETH, do you think those guys are going to do a hard fork and basically take it lying down? Or, I'm trying to play out those scenarios to see what's going to happen.
Yep.
The USD. With the hard fork.
You cut off.
Are you
Are you talking about like Ethereum going 2.0?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, so I can say this from what I've heard. I remember listening to one of the ETH miners, part of some group, and he was talking about just this. Like, they're not going to just take it sitting down. They're going to fork. They're going to make their own chain. They're going to be. I'm not sure what ETH 1, and then the other one will be ETH 2, I guess. But I mean, you really could call ETH 2 whatever you want. It's just they're calling it ETH 2. It could be so and so name. I mean, it's a new network. Yeah, I don't think the miners are going to take this sitting down. And then here's the question though. It's not about the miners, right? Because the miners can say, no, we're not forking. We're going to just keep putting up the network, right? And then we're going to do our thing. But what if everybody doesn't find that, doesn't find any value in the network, right? And so people don't the token, and there's no value for the miners to sell to keep the mining equipment up. Well, then the miners are shit out of luck. There's nothing they can do. They have
That's right. I don't think they can because of the difficulty bump or something. So they are kind of forced, I think, to do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, dude. Like, maybe if they fork, but they should have also to remove then the difficulty. I mean, they would need to create a new chain almost with new rules. I don't know.
Now I think I understand the question. And I actually asked this question, so I think one question past this question, about a year or so ago. Like, what are we going to do with all these mining rigs when they aren't useful for just accounting anymore? I mean, they've got to be useful for something, right? And I think the best answer I've gotten is like virtual reality type gaming or environment stuff. But yeah, I mean that time will come.
One decent thing I think is because you can mine ETH with a GPU, and so those people can in some aspect reuse for something else.
Repurpose. You got to repurpose it. I mean,
thank you.
Karma.
There's no sense in taking the thing to the trash. I mean, it's a good tool. Like, use it, but just you got to figure out what the hell you're going to use it for.
I don't even think that it's going to be really used for virtual reality and all that stuff, because like these mining rigs, especially like these graphics cards, they're kind of like tires on a car, you know, like it's wear and tear, and after like 1-2 years they are not powerful enough or not good enough, and you're gonna replace them. You know, they have actually a very short lifetime in that sense, because you know people are looking for the most efficient and best graphics card and more, you know, power, whatever. Yeah, that sense. I mean, like the V8 from the 1970s is still like good, right? But the V8 engines from, let's say, 2020 are more efficient, better in that sense for environment and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think they're gonna end up on
that aspect certainly exists. I mean, that's basically what you would call depreciation, or you would account for it as depreciation. I just think that they could, you know, these things are going to have to be repurposed because it's
so just real quick, the ASIC miners that are doing all this are applications pieces of equipment. So they're not really repurposable in that sense that they're specifically designed to do what they do in the breaking of the encryption.
Yeah, man, you're right. If you have an ASIC, if the network is done, you're crap out of luck.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate cost. I think,
but isn't all the don't all? I mean, I don't really know because I don't play the games, but aren't all the games and stuff? Don't they need the ASICs? Because I remember when my partner was complaining, her kid was the chips were going up in price because of Bitcoin, and
yeah, it's true, because
those are CPU and GPUs when they were mining with those. When they went to ASICs, it pretty much obsoleted those.
Yeah, but still, a ton of people use like GPUs. Ton of people use GPUs, and the issue is like if you have as they said, they buy from, you know, Nvidia and all these people, and they're gonna just buy it off, right? And people who like in a gaming scene for the PCs and all that stuff, if you want to buy like, or you know, set up a rig, you really had like the past 2 years really issues, I think, getting anything. Right now I think the prices went down substantially, so it's more accessible. But I think the past 2 years, like, dude, you would pay like for a graphics card.
Difficult.
Yeah, like it was listed for like
a 3060 was listed for $1,300 when literally it was like $300-$400. I built my own PCs.
Yeah,
like,
but it was there.
Like what you guys are saying about GPUs being repurposed, they can. I use my GPUs that I was using for mining. My 3090 I use in my built PC. I run 2 PCs. My friend still repurposed his mining equipment that he has. He was running about 6 3090s and 2 3080s. Just for mining, but it does wear and tear though.
I mean, those you can run. I mean, those
the 3090s are still fairly new.
Yeah,
they're fairly new. I still have the 3060s and the lower ones, but I don't use them anymore. I have give them away to some of my friends.
But I'm speaking like of let's say the 1080s or something, you know, like the 1080s, 1080 Ti's, like
if people is mining using 1080s, that is
not, no, obviously that's the thing.
Yeah, it's not worth it to mine. Yeah. Even mining with 39, even GPU mining period is not worth it because who you going up against with these big factories and ASIC miners now.
I'll tell you,
defeats the purpose of GPU.
I'll tell you though, Vat, don't curse me, man, because I've had my 1050 Ti 8 GB of RAM for like 5 years now, right? And I'm still going strong. I mean, I had to change the GPU port on my CPU board because it burnt out, but we're still going good, man. I mean,
Don't curse me. I'm playing on onboard script.
oh gosh.
A question on that too. So most of those major mining rigs, when they're actually created, is it still it's still the point of they have them for up to a period of about 6 months or so before they actually ship them out. So they're actually using them before they actually get shipped out to customers, or is that still the go? Or
Yeah. So the thing is if you used, like you just said, if you used your GPU to mine, if it's more than like 6 months to a year, that thing is done for, because it when you're a miner, it's running 24/7, 365. It's nonstop, and so that burns them out pretty bad. So yeah, you can't really repurpose it after that, but people do. You sell it, and maybe
The
people get.
thing is also how that person take care of their mining rig. Yeah, like if they don't really take care and have a good airflow or have like air
Yeah.
conditioning in the place, it really damages it because the place heats up. Like when I was running mine for a
Yeah,
while, yeah,
it
I had
that,
a own shed and a air conditioning system where it kept the area cool, which in turn makes the GPU last longer. Yeah, especially even when you're running a regular PC, built PC, you want to make sure you have good airflow and good what I mean,
yeah,
good airflow with
yeah, just like a PC, you could do like
heat.
liquid.
Why you gotta slap me in the face for?
Actually, it's
How many PCs were you running at one time,
if you connect the dots,
or
the
hardware?
security behind the cryptography ultimately goes through the physics and the heat exhaust of the computer. Like if you connect all those dots, that's where it ultimately comes down to that heat, which is kind of funny because then it sort of comes back to the beginning because you've got like thermodynamics with the oh shoot, what's that thing? There's an effect. What's the thing? Oh, it's a physics thing. Anyway, you connect all that stuff. That's where that backstops. That's how people can trust these systems, is because you'll overheat the machine. Its exhaust is heat, right? So the fact that it can't do as much computation as is necessary to brute force the system is because it'll overheat. And it's got like a cycle, like how fast, how quickly can you do
Yeah, they're
train.
not powerful also. But
That's why quantum computers are so crazy, because
yeah,
they're not
Well,
even
if you
just.
look at those, they have to keep those things. The 90% of the equipment in a quantum computer is like a freaking air conditioner, like a cooling agent. They have to keep them super, super cold.
I think they're pretty much also cool with nitrogen or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or you just bring it to Alaska.
Just like how I
Yeah,
run my
That's
nodes, I
probably where
run
a
it.
lot
I
of
run it on a Motorola
will live.
Razorback. Yeah, it's a server station. So even my server station is insulated and cooled off with air conditioning to keep it cool. Because even that server station get hot too. Heat up.
Yeah, I
so
used to have it was years ago, but I had these two roommates, and they were into this gaming stuff, and they ran these big machines they built themselves, like they were custom machines, and they were pretty beefy computers, right? But they would run them all night, and they complained the air conditioner wasn't low. I'm like, dude, it's like 60 freaking degrees in my room. It's 80 in your room. How about you turn the space heater off? Right? Like they just didn't get it. I don't know why they didn't get it. They knew enough about computers. You would think they would have understood that the computer is spinning freaking. I mean, they had cooling. The one guy had like a liquid cooling system into his.
That's how my computer is. I have a custom made liquid cooling system.
That's a luxury variant. Yeah, that's high end.
Yeah, that's high end. That's something you don't need. You can even use just a regular cooling system, but computers and stuff, yeah, they do get hot, but not enough to change the whole temperature of your room. Not unless it's like a specially built one that is freaking huge and you have like no good airflow.
No, these were pretty. I think the rooms were like 10 by 11. Pretty sure that's what they were. They were both the same size. I owned the house. And but nah, these were big computers, man. But yeah, I mean they put off heat, and it's only through the Ripple community that I've learned some of this cryptography stuff and how it ultimately backs up to the heat. Like that's the and if you think about it, take like a look at like Russia and they've got energy, like okay, and cold. These are two very useful resources if you're gonna like push a proof of work system, right? Like the only thing they're missing is the ASICs.
Yeah, but to come back to what they can be repurposed for, maybe just as a heater or something. I don't know. In the winter.
That's not even funny.
It still would perform better than a regular computer.
You know, it's very funny though about the way that the heat structure works with the technology, because even I don't know if you guys get this with your phone, but even being on Twitter too much for me and my phone uh, gets really hot. Sometimes I go and I open the freezer and I put my phone in the freezer for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, true.
Go ahead, Wolf. Thank you for coming up and raising your hand.
Thanks for having me up, and hope everyone's having a great day. Yes, my phone also heating up all the time because of Twitter. I think it's checking data or something all the time. But yeah, I was wondering, I know I have heard it before, but the on the whenmint.day, where we can see the percentages of votings, how many percent is it again before it will be voted and agreed upon?
Are you talking about Flare?
No, I'm talking about the XLS. Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about XS20. There is a webpage from Chris from Big CJAT, whenmint.day, and he displays the percentages.
Mm-hmm. What are we at? We're at like 44%, I think.
Right? 44, yes.
Yeah, but
that
how
guy,
many percent
man, Chris and his ideas. Yeah, some very good ones.
He has tons of domains. Wolf, 80%. 80. We need 80% over 2 weeks, consistent, and then it gets immediately enabled after that.
All right, thanks. So, okay, cool. That because I was wondering that as well. So it will be instantly enabled once it's
after 2 weeks. So it reaches 80%, and from that point, 2 weeks, and then it gets enabled. If we in between drop, let's say 275, and we go back to 80%, the counter is set, gets resetted, and then we wait, another 2 weeks, so to speak.
Welcome to decentralization, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, Wet, for clearing that up. Can't wait until it's launched, but I guess everyone is waiting for that.
German.
Funny thing,
I think everyone.
I'm probably more excited by hooks and Evernode than I am, I guess, XLS20, right? So NFTs are cool.
Evernode,
the AMM, man. The AMM, man. And all even hooks, man.
And then
all this is going to be able for craziness. We'll be able to do a lot more. And then that's when a lot of people is going to see a lot of these other builders and engineers come into this space and utilize what XRPO has to offer because of what you'll be able to do with hooks and the AMM and what you'll be able to build with them is going to be wild. Not saying you can't do a lot now, But when those come into play, oh man, the doors is just gonna open and people's gonna be able to do way more than what is provided today.
I think the AMM, I'm super excited about that, and I need to reread that again because I think I only probably absorbed 70% of it. But the Evernode uses, but it is as like a dependency. The Evernode uses both XLS20 and hooks. And Richard, the guy that's developed hooks, is helping the Evernode folks. So they're right in the thick of it.
Speaking of Evernote, is that something that Codius is behind?
What's that?
I would say Evernode replaces Codius, because Codius is more of a centralized smart contract hosting platform. It's not something that was developed by Ripple for Ripple, so this is different.
Yeah, Codius didn't really have a token. I guess you could have just used any token whatsoever. If I remember right. It's been a long time since I looked at that.
Yeah, token. But like, what reason would you need a token if it was your own centralized system? There's no inherent reason, unless you're, I guess, trying to just specifically move value.
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I think that's kind of why it didn't have a token.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Death Ranger, we talked yesterday, I think, about Evernote. We missed you there.
More Evernode?
Yeah, more over Evernote. I think Tony was analyzing the what is it?
Oh,
The
you're talking
supply
about
or
the
something?
space during the day?
Ah, yeah, during the day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was here.
Yeah, he was here. That was
Oh.
here. Wasn't it was the same one too? Yeah, I was here. Yeah.
Just shows you how much death means to you, huh, man?
I'm sitting next to him.
Wow, that hits the feels. What up,
Man,
Shellfish
that's
and
a deep
Costa?
wound.
See, I'm here so often. He forgot I'm here.
It was Death the one that was explaining the
I was
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, Death, I don't think you were here yesterday."
You busted out the white paper for the what was it? The Shashimono or one of them. One of
I
them.
know, yeah, I posted that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to take credit from Death, but Death was the one explaining more of it.
Okay,
Man.
sorry.
That was good. That was good, Vet. Thank you. Welcome up, Shellfish.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Howdy.
And anybody else in
Sup?
the audience, if you guys have any questions, I'm sorry, Tony, for interrupting you, but if you have any questions or any topics you'd like to discuss, please feel free to hit the request and come up as well and speak with us. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
Oh no, you're good. I was just saying hello.
Hey, so what happens when they put the computers, like the nano chips, whatever, in us? If we start overheating, are we gonna be having to throw people in the freezer?
Well, that's what Death wants.
No, this is a serious problem. You cannot have any sort of biological infused technology, which is going to cause some sort of radioactive problem with your living flesh, right? Because the most important thing would be able to control the radiation, where like we have Wi-Fi signal, right? And so if we can bring it down to a level where it's just as bad as you getting, radio waves from Wi-Fi, well, whether you have the device or not, if you live in a first world country, I guarantee you are being hit with Wi-Fi waves all over the place constantly without even realizing it. And so it's not really a big deal at that point. But yeah, it's a very important thing. We cannot have any.
I don't think
biotech industry has been booming.
But like, how would you? I mean, it's a decent question. Like, you know, your body's what, 98 something degrees. What, how are you gonna, how would you, if you did, which I think it's kind of ridiculous, but if you did, like, put some kind of chip or something in, I don't know, your hand or whatever for what, I don't know why people would do
Well,
this.
even a 2% hike in your body temperature, you would have a pretty severe fever.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be like one chip, especially if it was like nano bits. It would be most likely thousands of individual little chips or little robots.
Nah, I'm good.
See, I just think it's all kind of, I think it's kind of a bunk idea. Like, I don't think it doesn't pass my feasibility, my scratch and sniff test.
I don't think you would overheat, honestly, with these small chips.
No,
I mean,
you, but the chip itself, like, how is it going to cool itself down?
passively, probably through your
Like,
skin
are
or
you
something.
going to, like, let's say you got a chip in your hand. Are you have to constantly go like every hour and stick your hand in the freezer?
Nah, it'd be
walk
too.
around with
It's
the
too
fan.
small to
No,
produce.
Yeah,
Carmen,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
only for
No,
the
the chip is gonna have to have like super smart technology, and it's gonna have to have like super backup procedures that if it started to overreact or if it started to overheat or if something abnormal happened even the slightest bit, the chip would get shut down immediately.
Just look at pacemakers in people's bodies. That's
Yeah, you
one.
know, there's a good point. 808, right? We already have lots of devices. I think they just kind of stick in people, and not to say that
My
people
sister has a
because I
placement of an aortic valve in her body that it has microchips connected to it.
oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
a good point.
It's working.
That's a good point. I mean, maybe it's within the tolerance level of the little chips.
Well, you know,
I don't know.
It's an interesting thing, like you said, how we remain 98 degrees. So you build the chip that is optimal at 98 degrees, and so our body does the rest, right? I guess in a sense, right? We are.
One of the reasons why Taiwan is very, very wanted because of their microchips they build and the technology they have to build the types of microchips they got. Semiconductor microchips with what was it? Some nanometer transmitters on top. That's very revolutionary.
It's the
for these
semiconductor.
type. Yeah, it's very revolutionary for the new technology and what we have in the technology world for microchips.
So the quantum computers have to stay in cold temperatures, but the nano chips have to be optimal, like 98.6 is what you're saying?
I
Like
guess I
body
would
temperature?
think it would make well. Also, a quantum computer. Quantum computers aren't like. I mean, I guess they have quantum chips from IBM, and so I'm sure you would need the normal proper.
Pretty sure a computer has to be near zero Kelvin.
They're gigantic, right? They're like it's yeah, definitely best if they build them in like Antarctica or something like Alaska or places like that, because you could just stick it in a cold spot and you don't have to worry.
Well, there's also studies where Microsoft has been putting servers deep in the ocean in capsules. That's crazy. I mean, and they've been doing it for a long time and a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean,
If you like microchip, you can just take a Zoom card and clip out the chip from there. It's easy.
So, how does the Neuralink work? Is that something the temperature that Elon has addressed?
If you want to look up a better, more detailed version of Neuralink, you can look up BCI, which is a brain control interface, and they've even had seminars in my area about it and stuff like that.
Ain't that shit wild? I'm sorry, but I've been reading about a lot of this technology, AI technology, unmanned blockchain and AI technology and all this kind of stuff. It's wild what they're using.
And you really got to think about it, because look, I grew up around some indigenous Native American peoples, and they, bro, like the way one of these chiefs explained it to me is like, okay, so you guys know these microchips are basically made from like the SIM cards and stuff. They're all made from earth, they're all made from minerals and stuff like that. So
metals, man.
yeah. So it's like, you really got to think about like these minerals. I mean, That's what everything is. It's all organic matter. So it's all just gonna like interoperabilitate together. I don't know if that's a word, but they're all gonna sink in. Like the human body, the mind, everything's gonna sink in because it's all just earth. It's all just organic matter.
Biotechnology has been booming within this past 10 years with being able to
Yeah.
interoperate with like
I
robotic in
think
your arms and shit. This is crazy.
interoperability is the word you're looking for, but yeah, it is. Like you got to look at like from a physics point of view. There's everything's the same, right? It's the same materials. It's just how they're organized. This is why I like the thinking of what's his name, Caesar Hagaliero. He's one of the basically two key people in like complexity economics thinking, and he makes an analogy and he says, when you have a Lambo, literally, I know this is crypto and people, I don't know what the Lambo obsession is, but anyway, but he literally uses this as an analogy, and he says, if you have a Lambo, it's worth a lot of money, right? And then you go crash it into a pole, and you broke it all apart, and it doesn't work anymore, and it's really not worth that much anymore. And he's like, what's the difference? Well, in the state one, the information, the physical aspects that made the machine work were arranged and organized in a certain way that made it worth a lot of money. Like it could drive and do all this functionality, versus in state two, after you run it into a pole, it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the Native Americans. They look at the rocks and they call them the abuelos, the grandfathers, because they say the rocks have been here just sitting still, watching everything happen. And basically all the minerals come from the rocks. So when you think about how we talk to each other, then the SIM cards, they're made from the same minerals that are in the rocks. So we're using the rocks to talk to each other. It's pretty simple when you break things down in the simplest form. Everything comes from nature. It's a really beautiful thing. And it's all going to work out together. Like a lot of people don't realize, and they fear the technology, but it's the digital world and the natural world are just they're the same world, but they're coming back together to join as one. It's really beautiful. If I'm embracing it. I'm super happy about it, excited for it.
I have like a okay, so Western culture went around the world and basically decimated indigenous cultures. But the thing is, by doing so, those indigenous cultures had a lot. This is kind of bleeds into the complexity stuff. The indigenous cultures understood all the connections between the trees and the rivers and the whatnot, right? And the animals and how they were, everything, the ecosystem functioned. And, Western culture is a very linear culture. So that's just the mentality that it comes from. And so I mean, anyway, so I'm hoping with some of these network technologies and everything, and a younger generation where people are more networked together, and the maybe hopefully folks gain a greater appreciation. I mean, in blockchain too, right? It's part of the puzzle. It's helping, I think, make people aware that, hey, you're networked with everybody else, right? Like it's not just about you going ram, 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 like the old school industrial age linear thinking. Like you got to think about a network. I don't know. I hope that makes some sense. But yeah, it's a thing. And I hope that we can recapture some of this knowledge, and some of it we're losing. I mean, and we really are. And I don't know, we will have to probably rediscover the knowledge. But I mean, when I say we, I mean
Oh, you
humanity.
made sense. You made sense, bro. I feel you too, man. Because as a indigenous
I was
Hawaiian,
just gonna
a lot
throw
of my
in. Well, I
culture,
was just gonna throw in.
a lot of my culture is lost.
Good, Pete.
Ancestry.com or all the DNA spots. Ultimately, what it's who's everything can be used, whether they're going to use it for good or bad, right? You can sequence the whole DNA structure and maybe isolate certain diseases or cancers, right? To do that, or it's kind of a similar concept. But if I don't know, for some reason, I know we're talking about microchips and GPUs, CPUs, and QUPs, but I was just thinking, nobody wants to be the person that's got the floppy disk in their arm when Karma's running around with a quantum processor in his.
Oh man,
I'm kind of jealous now.
I got a floppy disk stapled to my back. That's how I sign my transactions and stuff. I just sort of back up to the computer and come on. I think the whole idea is kind of ridiculous.
Well, the most supreme technology is the technology that you're made of, like your chemical makeup, your brain, all your organs, the human body. It's the most supreme technology that exists. So I don't know why anybody would ever be scared of another type of technology entering, because there's nothing that's going to ever possibly be more supreme than what you are made of. So there's no reason to fear any other type of technology, because it's not gonna be even close to as supreme as to what you are.
And people don't. Well, okay. So we had a little bit of this conversation the other day, but people they think they want to like attribute capabilities to AI technology that I don't think are reasonable, because they want to be scared basically about like, oh, it's going to replace like human thinking, and humans are going to become, I don't know.
Well, we're kind of going Matrix talk, right?
Yeah, but it's all BS.
And then,
because
I mean, what if you can, chip your body, your brain can still function, but if we're going to go to the essence, where's the soul, right? And if we go back to the indigenous, I don't know if it was Karma that was bringing it up, but they used to not want to be in pictures. They were like, no, we're afraid of photographs because I feel like if my photograph's here, then I can't go into this next place.
Yeah, because people have always been extremists. People have always demonized one thing and embraced the other. But that's the world that we're moving into. It's you've got to be balanced, and you've got to understand both sides of the spectrum. So yeah, I mean, you're talking about the past, though. You're talking about the future tribes of the world. They're different. They're going to be different.
As a practical matter, just the way AI works, all it can do is repeat the patterns of past history, or whatever data input you give it. It'll just kind of repeat those patterns. Now, it might make some improvements on the pattern, but that's not like the type of conversations that we have in here, and that people think about. There's creativity, right? This is not something based in the past. I mean, it might use some data and some information and knowledge that was gained in the past and recombine it in a new, different way. But this isn't the kind of thing that AI can do. I mean, it just can't. It can recreate and analyze patterns of historical data. That's what it does. And there's value there. I'm not knocking AI. I think AI is really cool, but still, I mean, that's just it's not the same.
Yeah. And wait until the human being, officially goes and becomes one with the AI and doesn't fear it, and they become one together. Then you're going to see something beyond the past, and that's going to be something that I mean, that's To me, that's really exciting. I don't know.
I mean, I that could or arguably has already happened, right? I mean, like, how did half of the folks in this room end up in this room? Probably some AI that Twitter's using. I mean, I don't know how folks find this space. And yeah, I think combining, I mean, because just look at it as a tool. That's all it is. It's no different than money. It's just a tool. You use it, and depending on how good you are at using it, cool. But it's not. There's just totally. I pretty vehemently think there's a big difference between an AI system. I mean, there's obviously a difference between an AI system and like you and your brain. Right? You and your brain are capable of things that AI system cannot do. There's no way it can do that. Like, do what you can do.
If we only knew what we could do, and if we only knew that our bodies were actually these instruments, and if we only knew how to play ourselves, and if we only knew, I mean, some people kind of know, but those who really know probably already turned into light or something like that. But I mean, I think AI might help us figure that out, maybe. Who knows, man? I don't know, man.
It's. I
Well,
think it's.
who was it that was? It might have been Shellfish. Somebody was bringing up that YouTube video, whatever that game's called, and they programmed the computer to beat the best guy in it. Either way, the point of the thing was the best he could do was to get to the draw conclusion. Like I don't think he actually won one game, right? So it's not to say it can replace humans, but it definitely can far surpass anybody's brain capacity.
So someone said that
It's a difference. The key difference to me is to do forward-looking stuff. You gotta have like an AI can't do that. You're
Well,
gonna need a human brain.
You can do forward-looking stuff based off of past predictions. I mean, that is kind of like how we think, right? Our actions are precedent thoughts that we had previously before done, in a sense. And so I'm
And we're
sorry.
creatures of habit. Like
Yeah,
we all do the
yeah,
same
we're
sort of
definitely.
stuff.
Yeah, emotions are kind of intuitive too, emotions. And
Well,
AI
I would
doesn't
say
have emotions.
emotion is the hardest comparable thing, because emotion is only conscious, and consciousness is way beyond just doing tasks. Shellfish, though, you had your hand up, and I think PTU though, the bot, that bot, although it beat the best Sudoku player in the world, I think it was 12 games, and I think that guy won 2 of them and then lost the rest, which was like crazy for him. And it's still crazy. That bot went around and like the best chess and checker player and all of the different sorts of games. Beat all of them.
Did you see the bot that broke that kid's finger though in chess?
That's unfortunate. No, but you want to send that? I also have a video up top about Sweden with their microchips and people right now. Go ahead,
I
Shellfish.
want to know,
Somebody broke somebody's finger in chess.
karma and
No,
death.
it was a robot. It was a robot, and it instead of going like the kid, I don't know if it was who was winning, but the robot just grabbed the kid's finger and broke it.
Karma and death, and the hosts of this space. Do you guys have like a project you're working on? Because I want to be a part of that project. I mean, who are you guys?
So we're part of the ledgerscale Foundation, and it's a nonprofit, and our goal is to help scale up the number of brains that understand how distributed ledger technology works in the entire digital asset ecosystem, and with the inherent goal of one day being able to run hardware and infrastructure for those networks to help support them and be comparable so that they can survive and thrive. And that's our goal. But most important thing is education and viability. We're here every single day, and we just want to, other than teach and hopefully educate in numerous different aspects of life. Um, I want to learn from other people in the space, and so it's like we do this every single day, Monday through Friday, and weekends. Typically, we're on. Bring
Awesome.
all
Awesome.
together.
I'm really glad I connected with you guys. That's awesome. That's really
Can
awesome.
I say something? Sorry, for Hidera. You said joining human with the AI is a beautiful thing. I think it's a disastrous thing. Like I don't trust human by themselves. So imagine if you bear them with AI. No, 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 no.
Well,
Sorry,
so
sorry.
I'll say this. I'm
Egyptian,
gonna
it's just another tool. I mean, you give
It's
me a
another
hammer,
tool to screw everyone. No.
but yeah, but no, seriously, seriously, give me a hammer. I can either build a man or house, or I can
Yes.
knock him in the head.
Okay.
Right?
And
Like,
who made nuclear weapon? Okay. Who made? But because here's the thing, the bad thing that human can create, it's more destructive than the thing that can be built. So nuclear weapon now is not gonna go away. And it's so destructive.
Well,
Egyptian.
a lot of times before something new can be created and something really great can be created, something has to be destroyed. And I mean that.
I'm afraid it's gonna be the human being.
we're
E-
just
All the human being.
basing our
Egypt,
historical context. But
trying
shellfish, go ahead. You finish.
Egyptian, isn't the same argument valid for somebody wielding a gun?
Doing what?
Isn't the same
Wielding a gun.
argument? Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it is
it's the
depending on
person and holding the gun. It's not the gun itself, right?
Oh, the gun, the gun.
Right?
Yeah, I understand, but I really like. Okay, I really like. I don't trust human being, and given them more tool to
well.
do bad things,
To
I
be
just
fair, it wouldn't be a human being, right? Because and I'm gonna say this, right? I think there are two choices in life. I think we all have different choices, but I think for our species, we will have two choices: um, die by AI and robotics, or become AI and robotics. And so, at this point in time, we're not human. We're a cybernetic being that's different. It's an evolved form of our species, and yes, with great power comes great responsibility. But I think that's I don't think we have many other choices, right? I think it's one.
and that's just to be clear.
cybernetics, death. I
So
don't know if you know this, but do you know the term cybernetics? Since you just,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
cybernetic.
yeah, that's the root intellectual source of complexity. It
and
was what's his name, Norbert Wiener. I mean, this goes back to like the 40s.
okay, and just to be fair to AI guys, I trust AI more than human because basically AI you can set a limits, while human you cannot set limits for their imagination or whatever you know. So I'm not actually attacking AI. I just don't trust humans. That's it.
Yeah, you don't want to mess. You don't want to mess with those AI.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, right? That's two issues I see with AI. And one
See, the
is,
thing is, the difference
oh,
between an
yeah,
AI and a human, the AI is constrained in the way that it's able to process information. A human, have you ever had like one of those ideas that just pops into your head? AI can't do that. They just can't. It just can't do that.
Not yet. And the biggest reason, and Shellfish, you go right after me because you got your hand up very peacefully. But the biggest reason is computational data, right? There's not enough energy that even exists that we can create to produce the computational data for a brain per se, right? Like the amount of um, electrical force that goes off in our synaptics connections when we have thoughts and just even like motions and things like that is astronomical compared to what we can actually comprehend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
say that.
Human mind is just unbelievable. There is nothing is gonna,
Well,
equal to it.
well, let me. If we can grow human minds, we can make them better. And so I say that.
Bruh.
Take that with a grain
Please,
of
please,
salt.
let's not do that. Please,
Oh my God, Dad. You're
First,
gonna
we
be
should
my Terminator, man.
first we should
please.
learn how to use our minds to the
Yeah.
fullest capacity, because we haven't started to do that yet. But
I think we
once
went
we start to do that,
the opposite direction. But shellfish and then ML and then OC. Go ahead, guys. Go.
Okay, so I believe we're not quite there yet, right? I'm not saying that we're like living in like Robo land yet, but getting closer like every day. I think I had found something over the last few days about tuning forks and the world of physics, and it kind of was I don't know, enlightening, I guess. I know you guys said when I had haha, came into the space, about how like there's certain people that are drawn to say this network or say Bitcoin or Ethereum. Maybe they just resonate because we're possibly vibrating at a certain frequency. Whether you want to go with that theory or not, you can look at like the videos of tuning forks and how one tuning fork will vibrate the other tuning fork to the same frequency. And we are building a network of trust. And you have the quantum finance system, and you have the biotech system, and you have the space nodes all interoperating, and we're being integrated into it, whether you like it or not. That's kind of like where I'm at in my little adventure in this space. So y'all can like chime in if you want.
And FYI, like I've seen things for AIs that it's really amazing. Like and I'm pretty sure everybody saw that, like drawing pictures and stuff like that. You just give them the description and they do the pictures for you. It's a freaking amazing. Like the applications that you can do with that, it's really amazing. One of them, like
Yeah. I was just talking about this, and I'll let ML and OC speak up here.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about this the other day with my other company. We get a bunch of pictures, and one of the common customer concerns is, what if somebody sends in an unacceptable photo, right? And so the AI, Google's got it's just an API at this point. I mean, but behind the API is an AI, and you can submit the photos, and it'll tell you if it's a photo of violence or nudity or something like that. I think there's two other categories, and it'll tell you that, and then you cannot. Like from our system point of view, we could say, hey, this one was flagged, so if you want to approve it, you look at it, right? And you manually approve it.
Yeah, and even for crimes karma, like let's say if you have a suspect and you have a description, and you can actually let the computer, based on the description, take care of how the suspect look like, that could be also beneficial. Like doing a lot of things, like let's say for YouTubers, you know what I mean, you want to do a thumbnail, and for me, I hated thumbnail. I was like, hey, if I put description and I let take care of it, that's really awesome, and I'm not gonna pay anything. It's really awesome. So there is a lot of application it could be really good for. I just taking it further than, like, in wars and stuff like that. It just freaks me out.
I think.
Could I let me throw something in real quick. Being objective, looking at human history, you see an advancement in technology. Warfare is one of the first, and all this AI. So that's all wonderful, space, AI, technology. But you got to be objective. It's not a popular thing to say. The human race is one war after the other. It kills each other. It kills itself. It's very self-destructive. Look at all the corruption we're going through. Look what's happening in this country. There hasn't been a time in history where there wasn't humans killing one another. That's a lack of development, of a spiritual development. That's a fundamental aspect and has to go hand in glove with giving humans more power. We have nuclear weapons. We seem to just kind of look the other way. But look at the nature of the species and the history of the species and how fast that came to fruition. 150 years ago in the Civil War, they were using percussion locks. You had to load the musket, rifled musket, and look what they have right now for weaponry. So there has to be a greater spiritual development because it's still a very self-destructive species. And that's evident. Just look at the news. Look what's happening with new innovations, greed, and blah, blah, all this other stuff that we're forced to look at, which is not good. So there's a separation between the spiritual development, this isn't popular, and the technology. It's easy to go on the technology path and say, gee, this is wonderful, and kind of not look at this other thing, which is staring you in the face. So that's my 2 cents.
No, ML, and the what you just said is the exact reason why I say we have two choices. Is because humans, from historical standpoint, is on this destructive pathway, and so if I was an AI and I was a supernatural being that understood not emotion, but uh, what is efficient, well, I would say that's very inefficient. And so you could easily look at that being as looking down at us and saying, no, that what is the use case behind humans? You seem to just kill each other. There's not much use case there. And
Yeah, and a lot of that gets broken down into what is good and what is bad and your perception of good and bad. And if some people, they think some things are good, they think some things are bad. Some people are in the middle, they don't think anything is good and nothing is bad. Destruction might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, who knows. I do have a one question for you guys though. On the LFS token, or
no,
the L.
we don't have any token. There's no token.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we're not doing anything.
Yeah, we're not selling a token. We're not doing anything.
So
There's rules and stuff, but there's not laws. So
If you
know,
would, we do have a donation thing if you would like to give donation. But other than that,
ah,
we have nothing right now.
oh, because I see the pound sign next to the LSF, right next to XRP. Oh, but that's why it's a pound sign. It's not a dollar sign. Okay, I got you. I got you.
there's never going to be a ledger scale. If anything, we
At
might
least,
use
at
oil.
least, at least not from us. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, we're not issuing anything. There's none of that kind of stuff.
So it's just for knowledge, just to pass around knowledge.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct, my friend.
And you guys are building a platform to help you with that, or it's just spaces?
We're hopefully trying to get a website up and then some content on the website. But
Nice.
yeah, we're not there yet though. But that is the plan. Yeah.
For now,
Nice.
at this point, it's mostly just community engagement for spaces, and I actually think that's really good. But we do have some stuff that we've got to get worked out for more like formalized curriculum. But yeah, I mean, we're not here selling anything. If you want to
Respect.
donate, appreciate it.
Respect. That's nice.
Yeah. And ML, go ahead, man. I'm sorry because I know you put your hand back up. I know you wanted to comment on what I said.
No, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. All right, then go ahead, OC.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the AI thing, which it's something we're currently experiencing right now. And with AI and crypto, this technology is extremely useful. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And the two things I've always see with an emerging technology or industry is two things, and we're seeing it right now: is regulation, lack of regulation, and just people don't know what's going on, and security. Those are the two biggest things I'm seeing right now in crypto. With I don't want to say hacks, but vulnerabilities, um, and regulation. Those are my two biggest concerns that I have with artificial intelligence.
I was just gonna add to AI. A lot of people misunderstood stands too. There's different types of AI and different stages of AI. Like there's like we can start from the bottom up, like the rule-based system AI where it surrounds everything, and from a robot process automation use, which autopilots and aircraft uses. Then you got context awareness and retention AI, which is machine based on algorithms and are trained on the best human knowledge and experience with that knowledge, meaning like you're teaching that AI how to jump over a stick by the knowledge we give it, kind of thing. Then you got like domain specific aptitude AI, reasoning systems, artificial general intelligence systems. You got artificial super intelligent systems, which we're not there yet. Right now, I would say we're in the AGI period of AI technology, but with blockchain and cryptography, that's gonna, oh man, it's gonna do some crazy. Which a lot of projects have already been using blockchain and AI for a lot of stuff. Like I was explaining the unmanned automated surveillance system that they're using is using blockchain and AI technology and geospatial location to help out with that.
Yeah,
Did you
but
say surveillance
to
system?
go
One
to
second.
Egyptian, buddy, I got you, buddy. Go Utah. But to go to
Yeah,
with like
go
what
Utah.
ML's saying and Egyptian's point too. I mean, he's talking about, let's just call it Minority Report if anybody's seen the movie, and it's about you know good actors and bad actors. So, yeah, technology is great. Constant is change. 20 years ago, engineers had to draft on a drafting board. Now you have AutoCAD. Finance people have Excel. You have all these amazing tools you can use. So where AI goes, sure, who knows? But it's who's gonna hopefully good actors. And same with nuclear energy, right? You can use a nuclear to do a nuclear power plant, or you can do it to pull an Oppenheimer and create a bomb. That's that crazy fine line.
With
The
great
thing is,
power
they're
comes
already
great
using
Yeah,
responsibility.
AI to
and
build
also
military
sir,
products too, which was one of the first stages of development using AI. Was using AI to help guide missiles. AI in geospatial location was used to help guide missiles,
Yeah,
and that was one of the first cases of it too. It's pretty crazy.
military.
Dag is with the military right now.
Yeah,
Go
DoD
ahead,
and Space Isaac.
Egyptian. You there still?
yeah, I'm here. I'm really like he says surveillance system, and that's what scares me about blockchain. Even the word blockchain has a chain in it. You know what I mean? Which is kind of like scares the hell out of me. Because basically you can
That's
you can actually like
That validation is chained to the block. I mean, is blocked.
yeah,
I
but there is
look at
another
this.
meaning for the chain. You know what I mean? Like
But
chain of
If,
custody.
if I could say something real quick to that, specifically what he just said. Listen, man, I know it's like freaky, right? Like chain link, blockchain. We're all going to be all under a microscope connected, all this fear about it and stuff. But look, listen, the most the most amazing thing you might ever hear in your life is that you are completely free. You are completely free. You have mental freedom and your soul is free, bro. Nobody is ever going to be able to take you, capture you, captive you. You are always going to be free, no matter what. You have
I mean,
nothing.
nah, I
Have
mean,
you
but
lived in
dude,
Egypt?
that's too much. What about mRNA
Have you lived in Egypt
vaccinations,
before?
right? You can alter DNA with an
I
mRNA thing. Like, we'll go into it even crazier. You're
want
saying,
to let me say so Egyptian. I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit here because I look at the chain, the word so you got the word blockchain, okay?
Yeah.
I get one, you got a block of transactions, but then you've got to chain them together. This is exactly how real estate works. You have a chain of title, right? Like this is exactly how things have always. This is just how it's done.
But real
And
estate is different, Karma, because now we're talking about money. We're talking about that they can, like, for example, why China is the first one who wanna do CBDC. You know what I mean? Just that also, like, that
I
alone makes you.
Well,
I have
put it this way, Egyptian. Any piece of information that is ever transferred over the internet is in the form of bits. Bits is what's stored in data centers. No matter what you unfortunately want, every piece of information ever done on the internet is stored somewhere, somehow, and it's accessible somehow. I don't know how, but somebody most likely does. And so, well, it's like, don't stress over the little things.
So you can think of it as a
Do the right thing.
snapshots of the internet. At any point in time, you can go back to a snapshot and see exactly what was in the internet at that specific moment.
Yeah, but I think
well, but
Egyptians point and Egyptians arguing though, like how far AI could go. So
yeah,
my
once you open
hold on.
Pandora's box, how do
I
you?
mean, yeah. Well, I mean, Death was saying, about growing human brains. I mean, I don't know about that, but Death, let me ask you something then. What do you think of Elon Musk saying that is possibly the most dangerous thing the human race could create?
It is the most dangerous thing because we only have an now. So it's like every action has a reaction, right? And so we'll have a choice when the reaction comes. Do we become this cybernetic being and And I say this because I believe that there will, well, yeah, there will definitely be plenty of the species who don't, right? And so I don't know what will happen, but do we advance our species to this next evolutionary form, where hopefully there's a structure like ML is speaking about, where we can stop this continuous of just human, non-human, just destruction for the last couple thousand years, and maybe even travel the stars and the whole galaxy and beyond, right? And be able to control energy to, as like a level 1 or a level 2 species would be able to. But at this small little inflection point, which would be like a dot on that kind of large map, there's a choice that the species has to make. And so I think if we don't make the choice to become these cybernetic beings, if not AI kills us off, we'll kill each other off. I mean, that's real. That's, I feel like, is the reality of it for us. And so we're stuck with this ultimatum because we've already made the action of creating AI and this technology that exists. And that's why.
I believe we're also going to have the choice to be a part of both worlds. I mean, I believe we're not. I believe in infinite possibilities, and personally, and I believe that I'm going to be able to be this very digitized being, but at the same time, I'm going to be enjoying my campfire, marshmallows and s'mores by the fire, looking up at the stars. I'm still going to have a life on Earth at the same time and be a natural human being at the same time, the way I've always known it, and still love all the old things that I've always loved. And I'm still going to be able to embrace the new technological things, the new digital world. And I personally believe that. I believe we can have a foot in both worlds. And
So let me ask you this: Would you be making making your s'mores in the metaverse, or would you be making it in say Montana?
Honestly, I want to teach martial arts in the metaverse. That's my first plan of action.
Hey, what martial arts do you do, my bro?
Well,
what's up?
What you bring?
What is it that you practice in?
I practice really ancient art called Brahmacharya. I don't know how to say it completely. Brahmacharya is the art of celibacy. And I also practice Tai Chi, Qigong. I'm a nutritionist for like 15 years. So I really watch what I eat, and I eat nutrient dense foods. And I just practice, like, I don't know, man, a little bit of everything, I guess.
Well, so NFC, this inflection point that you brought up, like, you think we're gonna, and we're at that point. That's our little thing on the map is the inflection point where we get to live in both of the worlds, right? Like people 20, 30 years ago when they were born, right, which is the majority of us, I would think, in here. There was a time where like computers weren't even prevalent, and so we're in this weird phase where we get to be the ones where we didn't have the technology, but then all of a sudden there's this like abundant supply of technology, and these crazy things that'll probably be done in the next
Well,
decade.
okay, Death, I got you one. So with great responsibility, that whole thing, but then what's the opportunity cost, right? To get that, you have to give up something. It doesn't.
Well,
There's gonna be an
in a
opportunity
sense,
cost.
I guess the give up is humanity, right? Like if you become a different being,
I think
cybernetic
I'll
being.
tell you what the give up is, because I've made this decision and I'll continue to make it. The give up is you can give up this is like the good old boy club type stuff. You can give up on the easy road, right? The simple job, you do this stupid stuff and that's fine, and or you can go for it. It's a difference between the guy that paddles for the peak and the guy that paddles for the shoulder. It's like that's the give up. And there's always risk and return. You risk it and it might not pay off. Right? Maybe it's a low probability payoff, but you go for it anyway. That's what you risk.
Hey, NFT Metaverse, if you're ever in Hawaii, I'll be down to exchange some martial arts knowledge, my man. I'm very deep into martial arts as well.
That's what's up, bro. I'm on an island myself, man. If you ever come to the Dominican Republic, yeah, bro, for sure.
Okay, I shared something with you guys, and I don't know if it's true or no, but says that Bitcoin core dev is now thinking of leaving the Bitcoin project because of the toxic maxes. The cultural erosion happened slowly since 2017.
Can you post it up? Can you post it up top?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I don't see it. That's weird.
I did. Maybe it takes a second or
Oh,
something.
there we go.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, a Bitcoin.
They've been talking about that for a very long time. Even during the days when they were trying to fix some things and upgrade some things, like what I was explaining with the staking and where it got its birth from, for decentralizing the way of the mining pools was distributing their bitcoins. You know what I mean? Like, even since those days, they're kind of having soft talks about them leaving the project, but it wasn't because of toxic maxis. It was pretty toxic, but wasn't as toxic how it is now. So I wouldn't like bet against it for them being pushing more towards leaving now than what it is than what it was then.
No, because if you try to change something, it will come after. You know what I mean? You cannot change something without.
You're listen. You can put it this way: you don't change anything on the Bitcoin network without the Bitcoin core team passing it through. Right? There, nothing. No amendment would get passed in that sense. Yeah.
Yep, like that staking mechanism had to go through them before it was even implemented. When 2013, 2014-ish.
Yeah. Let's not get too into Bitcoin. I mean, listen, there's lots of faults. I think the idea behind Bitcoin is great, but there's just too many problems.
The craziest thing to me is that everybody got excited about the core vision of Bitcoin, which is peer-to-peer payments. And then you've got other systems that came along and tried to achieve that, vision and then do a better job, and then everybody doesn't like them. It's weird. It's like, well, wait a second. Did you like the vision or what?
What it was is everybody came in that liked the idea of what Bitcoin was built for. Yes, the peer-to-peer, but when they came onto it, how it was being mentioned is how decentralized it was, and in actuality, it really wasn't. That's why, hence, it needed to be upgraded multiple times. Especially when before, in its early days, it was easy to mine just using your computer, and then other entities out there started to up the game a bit, bringing GPUs inside and stronger ones inside, and then actually building mining rigs came into play, and then ASIC miners. You know what I mean? So it became a monstrous industry where a lot of stuff needed to be upgraded. And it is decentralized nature wasn't even a decentralized nature because how it was built out to be. Like what I'm explaining with the staking mechanism was birthed from Bitcoin. POS came from Bitcoin because of the mining mechanism needed to be decentralized to distribute the rewards, because the owner of the mining pool would
It's
be able
already
to complete their shit
consensus.
on.
This is what so when I say this industry has been one of the weirdest industries because I've looked like historically at various industries development cycles. This is the weirdest freaking thing. Okay, I mean, the XRP ledger and the consensus cryptography came out of a desire to improve upon the proof of work aspect of Bitcoin, right? But now they're going to go to proof of stake. But see, from an economic perspective, what proof of stake does is it takes the people. It's the rich get richer. It takes the people who were there first doing the proof of work, running those machines, right? And then it locks them in as basically permanent winners. That's what it does. Like, and yet, proof of stake came around after consensus. And so if there was a real intellectually genuine attempt or desire to improve the mechanism, the cryptography mechanisms, the consensus was already there. I mean,
Well, I can't wait till Flare launches, because Flare is gonna do so much, man, and Flare is gonna have the added KYC feature. So It's like from a regulatory standpoint, which is where there's so much value in the world that hasn't entered the market yet because of the fact that nothing's secured, nothing's regulated. And when Flare comes out with their added KYC, they're decentralized. When that thing launches and goes completely live, so much value is going to enter that. And then people with really great minds, really that want to do great things, but aren't able to because they don't have enough value in the world. Some of them are going to be holding these technologies that are going to be able to work on Flare, and these people are going to be just instantly uplifted into the world, into the universe, and we're gonna pave the way for the youth. And it's just I can't wait for Flare. I'm
There. You assuming that Flare is gonna be so secured, which I hope so. I really hope from the bottom of my heart. I want it to be. You know what I mean? But let's not rush judgment until it's actually applied and see. You know what I mean? Let's see what problem is gonna arise when it's actually get applied in real
Well,
life.
well. So this Egyptian is why we've waited so long. I mean, 7 years of making. This is the reason is because of the security. So I hope you're right, but
I really do.
we'll
Believe
see.
me.
Yeah. As long as as far as the white papers and the mathematics go behind the architecture of the protocols, it all makes very good sense, and it's things that don't exist yet. And so, in that
Yeah,
sense,
but
it's
this it comes back to human being again, okay? Because I know Flare people are so smart, but I also know there are other human beings that they are smart, that they are waiting for one mistake and one mistake only, and they will use it to actually, like they do with other protocols. So it's not that I don't trust Flare team. I do not trust other human on the other side. You know what I mean? That are waiting for something just to break. That's all what I'm talking about.
Well, this is one of the big things with well, frankly, both Bitcoin, I guess Ethereum can't really say this,
Hey,
but
Jeff, I feel like
and
your
XR.
house is like highly secured with like turrets or something, man.
Actually, okay, so hold on. I'll tell a funny, well, it's not a funny story, it's a real story. But anyway, let me finish my point. These networks have been along for so long, or have been going along for so long. Like, I'm talking about Bitcoin and XRP. Ethereum has had issues and forks and DAO and all sorts of issues. Um, so I wouldn't lump it in. But Bitcoin and XRP ledger just chug along. And if you think that over all these years, people that are really super smart haven't tried to attack these ledgers, that's sort of naive. And they just keep chugging. The other story I'll tell real quick, and this is kind of off topic, but my grandmother's brother led Alpha Company to Germany, and they one night he took basically. I mean, this is before I think the Rangers existed, but he took a few guys, and they were going to assault this town the next day, and the Germans had all these machine gun nests set up, right? So they were probably going to get slaughtered, right? So in the middle of the night, they went up with these few guys, and they sort of snuck up on each one of these machine gun nests, killed the German, whoever was manning the machine gun, and they left a guy there, and then they went to the next one, same thing, left a guy there, went to the next one, same thing. Then when the company came into the town the next day, there was no resistance, and so nobody really got killed. It's anyway. Sorry, you said turrets at Egyptian's house, and it just popped in my head.
Go ahead, Shellfish. Thank you for raising your hand.
Sorry about that. So I was wondering, with the whole microchip and like the biochip sensors, do you think it's possible that if it's a trust system that we're going into, and the sensors would be able to tell if the person has something that's not right in their body, whether it's COVID or cancer or whatnot. Would that be taken into effect as far as blocking them access to the system, like the integrity of the system? So it would be important to maintain good health, stay away from caffeine or overeating, or having the sensors in the body to hold accountability to maintain the integrity. Does that make total like off the wall, like no sense at all, or am I just like?
No, I would just say from this aspect, the medical field makes billions, billions of hundreds of billions of dollars from treating those kinds of things. So I don't think the objective is build a device that like takes the emotion away from the people of being able to want to do other things like that. In the
But they do have biochips and AI technology that helps doctors with their patients to break down their molecular structure of certain diseases that they track in the bodies of their patients, which is pretty cool. I forgot what the name of it. I think one of them was called MediLab.
Yeah, and they're definitely coming out with things like the treat cancer and stuff like that. I mean, like sorry, Karma, go ahead.
Well, no, do you know about the CRISPR thing?
CRISPR is another DNA molecular.
Yeah. All right. Here's the real deal story, and this is just about 2 weeks ago. My stepdad got I think it was stage 4, but it might have been stage, but I'm pretty sure it was stage 4 lung cancer, which is what his mother died of. And thankfully my girl was still in medical school at the time, so she had access to all these databases for through the university for like all the all these trials. And so he got into one of those, and double thankfully he was one of the top responders. And just the other, I mean, this has been going on for like what, 2 years. The he's cancer free, and it's all because of this genetic stuff.
You know the craziest thing about CRISPR? It's been around for more than a decade and has had the ability to do, well, I mean, just for one instance, in China, right? There's already a proven 2 humans that have been cloned, and they're older than I am, and living. So this technology has been around, and the ability.
And another thing to think about off of what you were saying, Shellfish, is, I don't know if you know what methylation is, but methylation in the human mind is like where your synapses start to fire off faster. So like, yeah, what you're saying, being healthy and being a very healthy human being and having a very strong, mental system and strong electrical system within your synapses and everything, yeah, it's definitely, I believe it would definitely play a big role in the connection between having these chips inside of you, because that just makes sense to me. So, yeah, and methylation, if you didn't know, methylation, you can start to speed up your methylation processes within your brain by eating more vitamin B. And I'm not talking about like the vitamin that you buy in the stores. You get vitamin B from eating like, bee pollen and certain things that are high in vitamin B. But yeah, just 2 cents on what you said there.
I mean, nutrition. The problem is we have an entire world industry designed to have unhealthy food and unhealthy nutrition. It's designed. It's specifically designed.
Yeah, nutrition is like probably one of the deepest things I've ever had to really. It's like I haven't even scratched the surface, man. But when it comes to nutrition, it's a deep study, man, to really try to understand what that stuff is. And then half the stuff you learn, it's like, is that even true? But so it's It's
Well, really,
We have something called in Hawaiian we call la'au la'pa'au, which is the study of natural remedies and spiritual, and also with the spiritually, but using the natural remedies to heal your body back to your natural state of how us humans are meant to sustain ourselves. And also, our body is meant to heal itself too. In order for us to get to that point, we need to bolster that mechanism
Yeah,
that we have
and
in
on top of that,
ourselves.
the pituitary and the pineal gland, and the hypothalamus, they're the master glands. So they control homeostasis of, the endocrine system. It's just a bunch of glands going from the bottom all the way up to the pituitary, pineal, and hypothalamus. So there's certain things like black walnut and certain things that stimulate those glands. And like then there's this hormone that gets stored in the pituitary gland called oxytocin. Scientists don't really know much about it, but that's super advanced stuff. And I'm not going to go deep into that unless anybody wants to. But
Dude,
yeah,
you said too many
two,
big words that I don't understand.
Hey, bro, that's
But it's
another
good
deep
to.
hole. That's why.
well, two things real quick. So oxytocin is like the hug drug. So
yeah,
if you're,
oxytocin is the bonding hormone. It's what
yeah,
bonds a mother to a child, but it's also because I know from experience, when you refrain from fornication, you start to because when you fornicate, you release oxytocin in mass amounts. But if you don't fornicate, you start to build it and conserve it within your pituitary gland. And this really activates your pituitary gland. And this kind of like activates and illuminates the whole being. And it's responsible for not feeling so much pain. It's responsible, like if somebody else has oxytocin, your oxytocin is going to vibe off of their oxytocin. It's like they vibe off it, and then you'll trust somebody who has oxytocin versus somebody who doesn't have oxytocin. You naturally will not trust them. So it's a bonding hormone from the mother to the son, or the daughter from the mother to the child, but it's also responsible for peace, less anxiety, more happiness. I personally think it's responsible for feeling more like a kid, feeling more like a child. But I
Helps
don't know
with your
what.
imagination, the control of your creativity. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Where
the
do
other
we where
I
do we
like what you
get
talk
this
about,
from?
bro.
thing I was going to say, NFT, and you might know this already, but the when you look at like the nervous system, that like nerves, like obviously most of them are in your head, right? But the next place where most of them are is in your stomach. So
They all,
when you,
yeah, in your feet. That's why it's good to massage your feet every night.
well, if I massage my feet, that'd be cool.
Okay,
No,
so I'm gonna bring it back to crypto. So if you look at the tweet that I shared, you know,
Well, real quick, Egyptian. What were you saying, Karma, about your stomach? Yeah, the mind gut connection. I think you were getting at. Maybe.
yeah, because it's your next the densest. So you look at like the networks, right? And the next densest network of nerve endings is in your stomach. You got your brain. It's obviously like way more.
Yeah, for your gut, for your nerves in your gut, it's the flora and fauna environment, and that is really benefited by things high in chlorophyll, like chlorella, spirulina, moringa, the leaf powder from moringa. That stuff really helps the gut, and I imagine would help all the nerve. What you're talking about in the gut, and it also cleanses your blood, which is probably one of the biggest parts of the human body. So.
Yeah, most important thing is the gut bacteria, right? You
Yeah,
don't have
yeah.
proper gut bacteria, proper nutritional absorption in the body and the bloodstream.
Well, and think about it. Like even like my mother has always said, and I mean, it's not like she made this up or anything, but you get like a gut feel for something, right? Like that's a little bit of a weird saying, right? Like, okay, I ate a hamburger. Now I have a gut feel. No, I just ate a hamburger. You get a gut feel, like there's a you. It's like I got a gut feel for some of this crypto stuff, to be quite frank.
Yeah, you
See,
get feelings. Yeah, you get gut feelings, and yeah, okay, yeah, I got you.
Like your emotional brain, your solar plexus, that's your gut.
Yeah, I mean, it just, if it makes sense, it makes sense. You know, sometimes your body, and like you just kind of get a gut feel like, I like this person. Or you get a gut feel like, I think this guy's full of shit. Right? Like,
Yeah, you get butterflies in your stomach too sometimes, man.
yeah,
Yeah, it's an
it's
expression.
interesting to me. So think about it from a network perspective. It's interesting to me that the second biggest network of neurons or nerve, whatever, all those, I don't know, I'm not a medical person, and I really don't know what I'm talking about, but it's interesting to me from a network perspective that outside of the brain, the biggest network of nerve and neurons and whatnot, or not neurons maybe, but nerve endings and like the neurological system is in the stomach. It's in the gut. And then like somehow or another humans come up with the saying called, "Oh, I got a gut feeling." How did you come up with that?
Yeah,
Where
no,
did that come?
it's definitely there's definitely something to be said about it when you could even like NFT was saying you could get this feeling in like the pit of your stomach, which where your gut is, and that's like a vibe, a good or bad vibe sometimes maybe.
Yeah, or you might just have to go to the bathroom or something. But
Oh,
no, man, the gut is super important because like it's the like she said, it's who said that, shellfish, it's the first brain, and it's totally connected to the brain,
yeah, and so
and
this is the
yeah.
biggest so that I have the question about AI sometimes, right, where um and to say like how Karma says like right like how could it think like our brain, right? And so I don't think AI will ever be able to really think like we will ever be able to, because our thought is induced by hormones and all of these different chemicals that have a reaction in our bodies, right? Like how we have that gut feeling, right? That's a conscious feeling to an attachment from a nerve ending to a nerve ending that has hormones around it, which is able to send a signal to the brain. And so, in the sense of like an artificial being, which may not even have any of these essential things like hormones and organs and like all of the things that we carry, um, think like us. I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't.
You
I don't.
In a
guys have
way,
seen
like
the
you
movie.
can
You
say
have
gut
seen the movie. You
feeling
have
is
seen the
from the
movie.
information that your body had experienced from the past. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you get that kind of feeling too. Is you already your body has already experienced that situation that will make you have that gut feeling. You know what I mean?
You have seen the movie AI, I'm sure, where they make the real boy, and then you have
Yeah.
seen, of course, the most alchemical movie that probably ever existed, and nobody really knows it, but Pinocchio. You have seen Pinocchio, and I forgot the guy that talks about that movie and all the metaphorical behind it, but oh man, oh yeah, Santos Bonacci, Santo Bonacci. You guys should really check that guy. That guy is crazy. Anyway, wow, man.
Interesting.
Hey, NFT, did you have some camping experience? You said.
Camping?
Yeah, camping.
Yeah, I've been camping. I just came back from camping.
You guys want to learn how to hunt, fish, dive, surf, all that? I can teach you guys too.
Awesome.
I actually live a self-sustaining life. I grow my own produce. I still go to the store though, but I do have my own produce, my own farm. I hunt,
Uh,
fish, and dive. I hunt deer, hunt boars, all that.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
guys, we're coming up on that. We have like 8 more minutes to spend in this space. So, just anybody in the audience that wants to come up, if you have a different topic or a question you'd like to ask, please feel free to come up, hit the request. And if I could also hit, if ask people at the bottom right there, there's this like new chat window feature. If you could go down there and click the retweet for the space so that other people can hear this information in the future, because this was an awesome conversation today. And as well as like the space, because I think Twitter likes that. I had a friend of mine tell me that the other day. That's a good idea.
Done, bro. Done. That's awesome that you
Yeah, it
recorded
hurts
this.
Twitter's feelings, man, if you don't like the space, my guys and ladies.
Well, and
That space.
also, if you want to do like a donation or something and help keep this going, that'd be good. But you just got to go look at the ledgerscale account. I think that's pinned up at the top.
What is that? Is that on the XRP ledger or something? I'm imagining.
No, it's
There's a
got
couple ads.
addresses. Yeah, it's multiple ledgers. I mean, it's Internet of Value, man. It's all of them. You gotta do everything. There's no sense in. I mean, I know we kind of tend to focus, and certainly the majority of my knowledge, anyway, is around XRP Ledger, but well, and maybe financial markets and whatnot. But it's everything. I mean, all this stuff is it's all important. Really.
Yeah, I love Hedera too, and I like Zilliqa, even though it's got a weird technology that's kind of slow if people aren't using it. But I like them all because they're super for the future of regulation, and I see the governing bodies and big institutions. So for me, it's just like the future, and I don't know. That's why I love them. I believe in them.
Zilliqa uses a programming language which is very difficult for people to understand, so that's why there's never really been any development there.
You know, it's funny. I'm like you, NFT. I've been following Zilliqa for a very long time, and even in the market, it's super slow. But when it moves, it moves.
They use
Yeah.
they use a language called programming language, so it's really complicated, but anything done with it.
Yeah, I just like that it's all super connected to the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and that's a huge hub. And like their project Ubin and Achilles, which is Zilliqa spelled backwards. I don't know. It's all very kind of interesting to me, but whatever. I don't know.
Wait, they named their project Achilles spelled backwards. Why would you choose Achilles?
Achilles is Zilliqa spelled backwards, and if you look up Project Ubin phase something phase.
Like the Achilles heel type thing. Like you know that. You know what I'm. Does that make sense? Like you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't hear what you said, man.
The Achilles heel. That concept.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The Achilles heel, like the weak point of something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Actually, well, it doesn't matter. But when I played soccer, I had an Achilles problem, and it probably held me back a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy because when you read through Project Ubin under Zilliqa and you read through what I'm talking about, and you go down to the board of directors or whatever it is, it's got everybody in there, bro. I'm talking about everybody. Bank of America, and right under Bank of America says Bank of China. And it's just like, I'm just like, what? It's crazy. So many connections when I read that paper, man. That document was insane.
Watch the people. The marketing stuff is one thing. Watch the people. Like by comparison, look at what's her name? Rosie Rios joining Ripple's board. Okay, that's more significant than putting Bank of America on your website. And actually, it says something that Ripple, to me anyway, that Ripple, Bank of America and Ripple have been working together for years, but they don't. It's not a thing. They don't advertise it. They don't. I mean, I think it's on a few website pages.
It was advertised in the beginning, but I remember you were actually able to see the private C funding round, which they bought at that time. But then it came off the website, and also all other stuff that they had that had information towards them and Ripple was off the website until recently. They've become more vocal about it.
This is one of these things where when you observe, like, say, a situation, and the people are intentionally or they're taking effort to try and understate, what it is that they're actually doing, pay attention, right? It's like the quiet guy in the room. Like, pay attention to that guy, you know? Because he's just pay attention to that guy. Whatever he does, pay attention. It's like that. You know, Ripple's kind of the quiet guy in crypto. Everybody loves to hate Ripple and XRP, and that's fine. But pay attention to that guy that's quiet.
Well, Quant is pretty quiet, man. Nobody talks about Quant.
No, I see a lot of people talking about Quant.
We got a lot of
I think
people.
they're doing good, but aren't they built on top of Ethereum?
Bingo. Yeah.
And they had a nice grow.
To me, that's a fatal flaw.
Yeah, maybe that was the disguise, but that's what sucks, man. That's why, you know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say this, right? Like, just because something has a downfall, right? Like, you could say from Hedera standpoint, right? Like, HBAR technology is great, but what is the node structure, right? Is that decentralized? And so, in the sense of Hedera, right, is a lot of MIT, IBM, same thing, Algorand, right? A lot of, but these are still fresh, new networks that have not been around for extremely, a decade yet, like Bitcoin and XRP Ledger. So, there's a lot of time that takes for a lot of these things to settle in to figure out what's viable or not.
And that's the cool thing about the XRP Ledger. It's one of the only other blockchains that wasn't built off or forked off of Bitcoin. A lot of these networks has been forked off or thought of from a different.
And then you got to think about how long has this technology actually been existing, even though it's been out since it's been out. Some of this technology's been around for a long time, just hasn't been unleashed. So even though XRP came out before some of these like Hedera and some of these other ones, you
wouldn't have Ethereum without Ripple. Because Codius was really the first smart contracts platform. But when you look at it's a good question. How long have they been around? Like when you look at like a quant, to me, if it's on the, I mean, how are the, okay? So imagine you're like trying to manage this quant project, right? What are you going to do when it switches to ETH 2.0 and it's proof of stake and all the fundamentals of everything you've built upon are changing?
Well, you have to understand what quant is, and I don't really understand it because it's in the middle and it's the backbone of like ISO 20022. It's the backbone of Hyperledger, Interledger, Overledger Fabric, and it's like it's considered the operating system. You know, that's what if you read what the technology is, it's like Windows is an operating system. Quant is like an operating system of the new quantum financial system, if you want to call it. So it doesn't make sense that it would stay on Ethereum. I don't think it's going to stay on Ethereum, honestly.
Well, probably it would certainly, if I was the product manager, I would be getting the hell off of Ethereum. But it's a routing mechanism. It's not an operating system. That's ridiculous. It's a routing mechanism. I mean, maybe they put that in their marketing, and that's fine. But it's the routing. It's the pathfinding functionality. It's providing that to, I guess, tokens on Ethereum network. I mean, it's like another one of these examples. Like, how many can we go through where Ethereum has tried to recreate functionality that the XRP ledger had, I don't know, 10 years ago? It's what it is. I mean, at least that's my understanding.
Well, I mean, do you think that map, and I'm sure you guys know about it, you think that was made up? Is there anything true behind that map where you know the map I'm talking about that connects Quant right in the middle of everything, connected to Chainlink, connected to the 5 ISO 20022?
That was actually drawn by someone on Reddit in a forum a few years ago. So it's just someone's idea. It's nothing official.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Well, hey, Def, I've got people that are about to show up here. I think it's about that time o'clock.
It is about that time. And so I think tomorrow, guys, we're going to have a focus topic space because today is Tuesday. My brain is melted from this long week already. Our focus topic tomorrow is going to be a AI / Internet of Value, the future of the Internet of Value. How do we get there? The TOA, tokenization of everything. And so I think we'll kind of pick it up where we kind of left it off today, where we were talking about. I hope I see everybody there. And I just, thank you everybody for coming. If I could just ask if you could also just follow us at ledgerscale and retweet the space so that other people may find this information valuable in the future. Not everybody.
And that's going to lead straight into machine-to-machine payments, which I think is a big deal. And just FYI, none of this is financial advice. And the folks that do speak up, we welcome the community, but they don't represent ledgerscale. And yeah, if you do want to donate, then that's cool. If not, that's cool. Whatever. Yeah, appreciate
awesome,
it,
guys. Peace, everybody. That was awesome. All right, peace.
Night, guys. Love everybody.